Okay, I see our numbers kind of steady, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I wanted to welcome everyone to our TKK informational session for Sandpiper. We have an esteemed group of panelists with us today, as well as we wanted to welcome all of our families to this event. I'm Nick Walker. I'm Sandpiper's assistant principal. And with us today, we have Carmen Rogers, our administrative assistant here at Sandpiper.
Good morning.
We have Manal Elgindor, our PTA president.
Hi, good morning.
We have Allison Tinkate, our school force representative. And we also have our district superintendent, Dan DeGuara.
Morning.
If you have any questions today, we're asking that you save those questions till the end of the presentation. And then we'll spend a little time at the end of the presentation. You'll be able to submit your questions via the chat, and we can answer a few of those today. Dan wanted to say a few things before we get the presentation started, so I'm going to turn it over to Dan.
Great. Thanks, Nick. Good morning and welcome. I want to just welcome all of our returning BRSSD families back to start again with your next child, or welcome to new BRSSD families. We have an incredible school district, and I'm so happy to start this journey with you. These transitional kindergarten presentations always bring back smiles. In my mind, I'm a father of two boys, and I can remember the excitement of starting school. One of my boys started as a TK student right at the get-go. And I can share that TK experience was a very positive experience. That extra year of instruction has really ensured that he's got a really strong foundation. And my other boy started in kindergarten, again, still a strong foundation. But I just remember that really exciting time of that start of school. So welcome to BRSSD. I'm going to go ahead and just real quickly talk about our current reality and our current situation. I think that's what we're all wondering. School has looked a little bit different this year through distance learning, and we've continued to adapt. We've continued to provide a comprehensive education for all of our students, TK and kindergartners included. I had the opportunity to read a story earlier in the year to our TK students, and yeah, it was pretty different, but nonetheless, our students are all doing really well. We're still uncertain at what the future holds, but there's a lot of positive trends we're seeing. The pandemic, at least the recent surge, begin to plateau across the state. We're seeing the vaccine coming out for our educators, hopefully very soon, and really just a positive outlook ahead. Regardless of where we begin next year, I can assure you that all of your children will have a comprehensive, strong education here in BRSSD, and I just want to welcome you. Enjoy the presentation today, and I'll turn it back over to Nick.
All right, thank you so much, Dan. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the district. Sandpiper belongs to the Belmont-Redwood Shore School District. And as a district, we pride ourselves on a few things. That includes our strong academic foundation, as well as our connections with our community. And through our collaborative work, have developed some strong 21st century skills, developed that academic excellence, and helped develop social emotional skills. This year, our district goals include prioritizing safety and wellness, ensuring instructional quality and effective communication with our families that provides reciprocal accountability, as well as making sure that we have financial stability, especially in these tough times. Here in the office, you could find myself. My contact information is there. I'm Assistant Principal Nicholas Walker. You may also find our principal, Miss Gloria Higgins, as well as our two administrative assistants. Carmen is with us today, and her contact information is there, as well as on the right, we have in the picture, Leslie McGuire, who is our other administrative assistant, and her contact information is present as well. At Sandpiper, we also have some commitments and goals for this year as well. Those are including responding to the academic and social emotional needs of our staff and students, as well as developing a commitment to having a school-wide vision and mission that we develop collaboratively with our parents and parent leadership groups. Now I'd like to turn it over to Carmen, who's going to talk to you a little bit about the enrollment process.
Good morning, everyone. This year, our registration process is going to be a little bit different than what we've done in the past. I know in the past, everybody's brought in, they filled out their online application, the registration forms, and then they gathered all the necessary paperwork for verification of oh my gosh, I can't think of the word, of residency. And they brought everything to our office. This year, what we're doing is, because of COVID, we're asking that everybody, still fill out the online application, print it out, but now we're asking that everybody scan the documents and send it to us via email instead of coming to our office and dropping the paperwork off. My email has already been posted on there. You're also more than welcome to give me a call if you have any questions at 650-631-5510. Now, what you're going to need is your online application. We'll need a parent's driver's license. We'll need a copy of your original birth certificate of your child. For proof of residency, we'll need 2 different sources of either like a PG&E bill, a water bill, or a cell phone bill, and an electric bill. And we will also need your either property tax statement or your rental or lease agreement. We will also be requiring a copy of your child's immunization records. And for those individuals that might have an active IEP or 504, we're asking that you let us know now that you have one and send us a copy so that we can go ahead and start the process there.
Yes, thank you, Carmen. And I was going to go ahead and just share quickly the what the open enrollment form and process looks like on the BRSSD website. And it's very important, yes, that you give us a heads up if your child has an IEP or a 504, so that we can get that work done on our end and also get those services going. So this is our enrollment page. And you'll complete the enrollment form online. And then you can submit all those documents to Carmen, and you can find her information here as well.
One more thing, if you're unable to download the scan your documentation, you can go ahead and give us a call and we'll make arrangements for you to come into the office and bring in the paperwork. I know not everybody has access to a scanner, so we are making accommodations for those individuals that cannot do it via email. So don't worry if you can't do that. You're more than welcome to come in.
All right, thank you, Carmen. All right, so a little bit about what you might to expect for a typical day for a transitional kindergarten or kindergarten student here at Sandpiper. We have 2 different bell schedules, one for each of the grade levels. Transitional kindergarten starts at 8:25 with a snack, and then will be dismissed every day at the same time at 12:30. Whereas the kindergarten schedule is a little bit longer. It also starts at 8:25. There is a snack, a lunch, which, transitional kindergarten doesn't have lunch. And then most days, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, dismissal will be at 1:30. But on Wednesdays, there's a shortened schedule, and kindergarten dismisses at 12:20. We're asking that families please don't bring their students onto campus any earlier than 8:15. In that time from 8:15 to 8:25, students may wait in the multi-use room, which is right next door to us, or they may wait outside the classroom. Additionally, if you're in need of after-school care, you can reach out to 2 of the organizations that share some space with us here on campus. They are adjacent to Sandpiper's campus. That includes the Champions organization and the Sandpiper Youth Club, and their contact information is available down at the bottom as well. Now, our teachers are in the classrooms, working hard, educating our students today, but they did take the time to provide a little video for you to give you the opportunity to take a look at what it might be like to spend a day in the TK kindergarten classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you now.
Hello parents, welcome to Sandpiper. This is our front office. And as you can see, we're going through the gates and we're going to meet our first teacher in room 1.
Hi, I'm Margaret Watson. I teach kindergarten in room 1. I've been teaching here for over 20 years and I can't wait to meet the next group of kids.
Now we're moving on to room 2 and we're going to meet our next teacher. Hello everyone, welcome to kindergarten. I'm Miss Janopin, Karen Janopin. I'm so excited to meet all of you next year. Now we're walking on to room 3 to meet our next teacher.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Wilson and I teach kindergarten at Sandpiper in room 3. I can't wait to meet all of you and go K!
And here are the snack and lunch tables. And now we're going to room 4.
Hi, I'm Jean Grabowski, better known as Miss G.
I hope you enjoyed our mini tour. Here's some photos of TK and K.
Get back to the presentation here. Oops. There we go. So you may have noticed that there were actually students on campus in those video segments, and just know that, yes, those are students from the previous year, but we anticipate having students in classrooms enjoying transitional kindergarten and kindergarten in the same way. Now, some things that obviously will, teachers will support your student with in the classroom. Some things that they can do beforehand to practice between now and the time that they're enrolled and start classes in transitional kindergarten and kindergarten are some basic self-care tasks, like how to appropriately use the restroom, how to button snap or zip their clothes, how to tie their shoes, how to wash their hands, and how to open their own snacks and lunch. And that's so that the teacher's not spending the greatest amount of their time, supporting your student in those basic tasks, but also making sure that they're able to, address needs of the whole class and work on that wonderful content that we talked about earlier. Some other things that can help them be more prepared for that first day is how to write their own name, how to recognize and write letters for those in A through Z, how to count and write numbers 1 through 10, and how to cut with scissors. Some of those content standards include, we have some social emotional skill and listening and communication skill standards that we use here at Sandpiper, as well as motor skills. We have our core curriculum that includes language arts, math, science, and social studies, as well as some art and music opportunities that are provided by some of our parent organizations. I'm not going to go through every piece of curriculum that you see there, but these are the curriculum that the district adopted curriculum that's used in our classrooms. Some things that I wanted to point out was in addition to our core content, we have a social emotional curriculum. We have a positive behavior support system and curriculum that we implement here at Sandpiper. We have recognition opportunities for those folks that exemplify our positive behavior systems. And one thing I just wanted, and as well as some recognition for those that have attendance, which is something that we also want to promote for our students on a regular basis. And something else I wanted to point out is that there's a helpful tool that's put forth by the Council of Great City Schools. And this is a curriculum roadmap, and they don't provide one for transitional kindergarten, but there is one for kindergarten that you can follow along as a parent. If you go to this website, it'll help you follow along as a parent as sort of where to be, where your students should be and how you can support them in their education. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Get back into present mode. And then finally here, before I transition, Sandpiper has a plethora of opportunities for parents to get involved and be a part of their students' education, which is, so important to each child's educational growth and feeling welcome and important at school and feeling that sense of belonging. We have opportunities for families to volunteer as room parents to help support in the classroom or to be yard duty supervisors, which are very needed. You could help out with field trips, be a part of the book fair or science fairs, as well as some of our parent leadership groups like the School Site Council or ELAC, which is the English Learner Advisory Committee. And there's so many more programs that I can't just talk about right now, but these are some of the things that I wanted to highlight. And as I mentioned, some of our great parent organizations, I wanted to turn it over to the two organizations that I introduced earlier, our PTA with Manal and School Force with Allison.
Nick, this is Allison. Should I go first?
Sure. Oh, yes. Parent communication. Just wanted to point out real quick that this is communication that comes from, I think we wanted to wait till the next slide, Allison, my apologies. There is some parent communication that comes out from the principal. There's a biweekly newsletter. We have our Sandpiper website as well as our, it looks like our PTA family membership toolkit. Is that something that you wanted to talk about, Manal?
Sure. We started a new platform basically this year. It's our membership toolkit for all active enrolled Sandpiper families. Our e-news that goes out on twice a month goes out to our community at large. So sometimes we'll use that communication to share things, not only with families, but with our community. And but the membership toolkit is specifically for active enrolled Sandpiper families.
So there, Allison, you may go ahead and talk about School Force.
Thank you, Nick, and thanks to Manal. I don't know why my video isn't popping in, so apologies, but I'm a parent of an 8th grader at Sandpiper, and that daughter has attended K through 8 at Sandpiper, and I also have a student in high school. I am the past president of School Force, and I have volunteered in a number of roles. I've been a co-room parent. I've been on so many field trips, reading power, all these opportunities that Nick referred to. And I would encourage all parents, to the extent that you can, to get involved in the campus. Partly, it's a great way to be involved with your own students, but to get to know their friends. And it's the way you meet other parents and hear about what's going on. So please do engage in any way that works, whether it's, official volunteering or just being involved in community events and on campus when you can. I'm going to talk about School Force. For those of you who have your first student entering Sandpiper this year, School Force is the district's education foundation. And in a nutshell, our education foundation simply raises money to supplement the district's budget because the district doesn't have enough funding to cover everything that we want for our students. Can you go to the next slide, Nick? And you might say, that's crazy. The cost of housing here is so high. How can it possibly be that we don't have enough funding? And if you look at our district in San Mateo County, we have the lowest amount of funding per student. And I'm going to give you the 30-second or less explanation of why. If you know that generally speaking, you assume that schools are funded through your property taxes and the cost of living is very high. We are such a good school district and such a family-friendly community that our enrollment over the past decade and a little bit more increased so much that the property tax base now no longer adequately supports the number of students in the district. So for that reason, we no longer hit the minimum state requirement of funding per student. So that's pretty much what we get now is the minimum. And we, unlike some of the other districts in the county, we don't have very many students who qualify for supplemental funding, like English language learners or foster students, things like that. So we are pretty bare bones, and that's why we really need School Force. If you can go to the next slide. So we like to think of School Force and PTA working together as making your house and turning it into a home. So School Force is basically your roof, the walls, the infrastructure of your home, the plumbing, the things that really make it work. And Manal will talk about PTA are the things that really make it a home, the furnishings, the decorations, and everything that makes it a place where you really want to be. So these, I won't go through the list, but basically School Force funds critical staff in the classroom and other supports, and so a lot of the technology and professional development and investment more recently in social emotional learning, counselors for every student. And we did a big investment this year to support teachers for distance learning with both technology tools and platforms to make this year as successful as possible when the students couldn't be there. So what I'd like to ask, we raise money and our fiscal year runs basically similar to the school year, and our fiscal year ends on June 30th. All the funding we're raising this year will support next year, your students' TK or kinder year. So we are asking for a donation by June 30th to support your students' first year at Sandpiper. And just to give you a heads up, we'll be asking again at the beginning of the school year, and we're partnering with all of the PTAs to do joint fundraising. And that's the first slide you saw, the education commitment campaign, where we can just ask one time, raise the funds at the beginning of the year, and hopefully not have to hound families for money throughout the whole school year. Although we do have events and specific fundraisers. Go ahead, Nick. So it's a hefty ask, and that's why we're here at the beginning of the year to ask you to financially plan. The ask for School Force is $1,550 per student. And when you add in, there's an additional ask for PTA of $250, totaling, $1,800. And that's basically $10 per school day per year. You can go to the schoolforce.org website and turn this into a monthly or your frequency desired recurring donation to make it a little bit more affordable. And that's the ask. If that is out of reach for your family, we do ask that you give what you can. And if your family is really well positioned, we ask that you support everybody by giving what you can. So thanks. Go ahead, Nick. And I guess here we'll turn it over to Manal.
Thank you, Allison. Kind of just to reiterate what Allison said, I really do think, joining the PTA or joining any kind of, community building event, helping out in your classroom, whether it's as room parent or just helping out when they do centers in TK and Kinder weekly, or sometimes they do them twice a week. And it's just such a great way to not only get to know your child's teacher, but see your child interact with their classmates. this is my 5th year in the district. I have 3 kids currently enrolled at Sandpiper, and my 4th one will be joining in just 2 years. So I love the school. I have nothing but great things to say about Sandpiper and our district and all of the staff and teachers. And when I first started at Sandpiper, I was a room parent and helped out with centers. And it's just such a wonderful way to see your kid interacting with other students in school. And I'm sure next year, especially when we're back in the classroom, everyone will be craving even more so to see our kids interacting with other kids. And so I really, encourage you to try and help out in the classroom in any way you can, because it really is such a great way to meet people and, see your student. And plus, every kid loves when their parent is in the classroom. So just to kind of talk about a little bit what PTA does, like Allison said, we kind of try to make the school feel like a home. So we organize community events throughout the year, ice cream socials, fall festival, end of year picnic, movie nights, things like that, just to kind of give some fun to the kids. But the real help of what PTA does is really we help with the academic and supplemental things that help your students. So providing crayons and markers and folders and all of those things, helping support our teachers. That way they have the supplies that they need in the classroom in order to best help your child. And like Allison mentioned, we try to fundraise $250 per student to help cover all of these costs. So not only to, give your child everything they need academically, but also to help give them some community sponsored events and things like that. And we don't fundraise until next year. So next, starting in August, you'll see emails from the PTA. Basically, just to kind of go over again what our budget is, most of the bulk of you'll see of what PTA spends their funds on is the academic support. And then we also do art and music, enrichment activities and field trips, community events, and then there's some, miscellaneous costs involved with just running the PTA, like insurance and dues and things like that. So some of the academic support we provide is, equipment in the classroom, some of the field trips, library books for the library, just things to help the classroom run smoothly. And you can see some of the activities the kids are doing there. They work on frog decomposition and science in the older grades. And some of the community events that we do, we have the science fair and the book fair every year, and then we do various assemblies throughout the year. There is a talent show that we'll still be doing virtually this year. We'll still be doing all of those events virtually this year. And then we also have a running club, a mileage club every Wednesday morning that encourages the students to come out onto the turf, and they run laps around the school in the morning, and they earn charms and things like that for how many miles that they run. And we also do a discovery day at the end of the year, which is such a fun day for the kids, where they go out and they get to participate in 2 different events. And they have things such as like how to build a toolbox from Home Depot, or how to play a sport, or how to make tutus. And parents and vendors come onto campus and they volunteer their time to teach the kids about something new, to kind of just show them another aspect of something to learn, and kind of give them experience into other different activities. And you kind of mentioned a little bit already some of the events that the school does throughout the year. One thing over the summer, we do kinder meet and greets, and I'm not sure if they'll be virtual this summer or in person, but hopefully we can get all the kids together at the park, and that way kindergartners can meet each other. So that way there's sort of a friendly, familiar face on the first day of school, and other parents can get to know one another. And we also have, it's not on here, a buddy program where existing families can partner with current or incoming families. Sorry, my internet says it's unstable, so if I'm cutting out, I apologize. But that way, incoming families can, connect with a current family and help ask any questions that they have or anything like that. And you'll get an email about enrolling in the buddy program too, if that interests you. And again, just, any way that you can help, give your time, your talents, and your financial support, it goes a long way. And it's, it's not only great for the school, it really does benefit you individually as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Manal and Allison.
Nick, if I could just chime in, I just want to publicly thank Allison and Manal. School Force and PTA have been working exceptionally hard to collaborate with the school and the district to ensure that the experience that we're providing our students is world-class. Honestly, being new to BRSSD myself this year, excuse me, as of July 1st, I can attest to the world-class education that our students receive. The level of service, the access to programs, and the diversity of curriculum and instruction that is in our classrooms is just fantastic. So that would not be possible without the support of our community. So just a big thank you to School Force and each of our local PTAs.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't agree more. And I wanted to thank everyone else, the families for joining us this morning and all the panelists for being here as well. We have ended a little early. We can take a little bit of time here at the end of the session to go ahead and address a few questions. I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share now so that I can take a look at the chat. It looks like we have a couple of things there. The question about champions, that is actually a really good question. Champions providing care for TK and have not done so in the past. That's something that I can look into and provide some updated information on in our parent communication.
Great, Nick. I'll go ahead and take the second question.
Okay, perfect.
The second question says, will we be asking for the government funding discussed by Governor Newsom for the schools to reopen for in-person learning? And the second part is, what sort of support will children be receiving with the donations from parents if schools remain remote? So the first question, the governor released information about the Safe Schools for All initiative funding to open schools earlier. We are waiting for additional information on that. And that funding and that grant funding needs to go through the state legislature. Currently, there's lots of conversation about the metrics that are used within that proposed legislation. It really is a kind of a wait and see approach at this point in time. As I shared earlier, there are a lot of things shifting. Vaccines coming out for teachers. Hopefully, we're seeing the plateau of the holiday surge. And really, it's just incumbent upon us all to make sure that we're wearing our masks, following that proper social distancing so that we can get a grip on the virus and get our kiddos back in school. In terms of looking back this year, the funds that were received from School Force and PTAs have supported our students just in different ways. Our PTAs have done an amazing job of shifting from in-person assemblies to remote and virtual assemblies, shifting what we would have once only considered to be possible in person to actually doing things digitally. School Force has shifted a lot of their support to digital learning platforms, technology support, and outreach for families. So it just looks a little different, and we're going to continue to adapt if we need to remain in remote. It's likely that we'll have multiple options for families. Our goal is definitely to bring students back on campus in a safe manner. when it's safe to do so. So nothing replaces in-person instruction. That said, we also recognize for some time that there may be a desire for distance learning, and we'll continue to work to follow state and local guidelines on that.
There was a question about the likelihood of, if you signed up for transitional kindergarten, what was the likelihood that you would be accepted into the program? Carmen, historically, are we able to take most of our transitional kindergarten applicants?
Yes. So far, I haven't heard of any of them being turned away. But if we find that we don't have room, we would try and find them the next closest school to them, so that they can go to that side instead. But so far, we haven't had an issue with TK or kindergarten, as far as I know. We've been pretty good about accepting all of them.
Thank you, Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like, if anybody wanted to throw out sort of one final question in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and thank everyone for being here today and joining us. We're looking forward to you joining the Sandpiper community. If you haven't joined already, if you're now part of the TK class going into kindergarten, we'd love to keep you here. Just thank you so much to our panelists and everybody that could be with us this morning. We're really looking forward to next school year. So thank you so much.
And again, welcome to BRSSD. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.